Hello guys and welcome to We Are Freedom Fighters. It's Fabulous Friday and my name is Diana and I'm the newest member to the We Are Freedom Fighters team. Today I'm just filling in as an alternate, but Fridays is usually with Lauren and Eliza. So yeah, I'll just get right into it. The topic I'm going to be talking about today is mindfulness, and the question is, why is being mindful, self-aware important? I made up a big list of reasons why I believe this is, but I'm just going to start off with telling you guys a definition of mindfulness, because when I read the question, I didn't really know what mindfulness was, but I looked it up on the internet, so I'm going to just give you guys a brief definition. Okay, so mindfulness is actually part of a Buddhist meditation, and how I will describe it to you is it's like being calm and self-aware about one's body functions and feelings, and being conscientious, and it's just kind of knowing about yourself and about how you feel about the things that are going on within yourself, and how you feel about them. And yeah, it's really important to be mindful and self-aware when you have an eating disorder, and I'm going to tell you guys a couple reasons why. Okay, so the first reason why I have that being mindful and self-aware is important when you're in recovery is because, when you're in your eating disorder, you want to know, you want to make sure that you know, when you feel hungry and when you're feeling full, and when you are ready to eat versus when you're ready to stop eating. Because with a lot of us, as our eating disorder progresses, this feeling can go away and sometimes diminish totally for a while. And I know that's hard, but as you start recovering and as you start the refeeding process, your hunger cues and your fullness cues are going to come back. I remember when I was in recovery, and the first day when I was an inpatient, I felt hungry again, and that was just very mindful for me to be able to actually be connected with my body again and know when I'm hungry versus when I'm full. That was just a really big thing for me. So yeah, that's one of my reasons why. And another good reason why being mindful and self-aware is important is because you want to know how you feel mentally. Because when you're in your eating disorder, your thoughts are usually really clouded with what maybe anorexia is telling you or bulimia is telling you, and to try and sift through all those thoughts and get to the real you can be really tough. You want to know when your Ed is talking versus when you're talking, and you want to be able to separate those two. And if you have this thought in your head saying I'm not good enough, you're going to want to stop and say, okay, that's not me talking. That's my anorexia talking, or that's my bulimia talking to me. That's not true. I have all these good qualities about myself and all these wonderful things about myself, and just being mindful of those, being connected to yourself and knowing what thoughts and feelings are your eating disorder versus you, that can really help you in recovery. When I'll give you a little example. When I was actually in partial, I had this therapist do this activity with me, and it was kind of the same thing they did on the Thin documentary, where you get a long piece of paper, and you first draw the outline of your body how you perceive it, how your Ed perceives it and how you're perceiving it at that time, and then you stand back and look at it, and then what you do is you put your actual body against the paper, and then they trace around it, and you kind of compare how different your perception is versus from the real thing. And that was just a really good activity to realize that, okay, my head, my anorexia, is perceiving myself in such a twisted way versus what is actually real. and I just really kind of opened my mind, and that kind of actually made me realize that, you know, this anorexia isn't real. This is something that's in my head that's made up, and, you know, I need to be mindful about it. I need to, like, realize that when I wake up in the morning and feel horrible, it's not because of myself, it's because of this. So, like, that activity just really, really helped me a lot. If you guys are at home, you should definitely do that. If you're in treatment, you should, like, suggest it. It can also be good, like, when you know what triggers you and how to prevent those triggers from happening in the first place. Like, for me, when I was recovering, I had a therapist tell me to write down a huge, like, just a list, brainstorm a list of, like, all my triggers, and just keep that with me. And then when I felt, you know, like, anxious or depressed that day, she would tell me to look on my list and make sure it wasn't one of the things that was, like, on my list. Like, say I had just gotten in a fight, or, you know, I did poorly on a test, or whatever triggers you guys. And then I felt really horrible that day. She would tell me to look back on your list and say, okay, did any of these triggers happen today? And if one of them did, then you knew it was, then you knew what was causing it, and then you would know, like, a way to prevent it from happening again. So, like, if you guys want to be more mindful, a suggestion I have is writing down all your triggers, and then writing down on the other side of the paper, like, things you can do to like, counteract those triggers. Write down your trigger, and then write down, like, a positive thing that'll help you, like, get through that trigger, push you through that trigger, so you won't feel, you know, bad for the rest of the day, or so that trigger won't impact you in a way that will cause a relapse, or, you know, a slip in your recovery, whatever. And then if you're self-aware, it's, like, a lot easier to avoid being around people that you know are negative to you. Like, I have this one friend that she kind of has her own depression problems, and I know that if I'm around her, I'm going to think worse about myself, and I'm going to get depressed as well. And just like how she talks around me and the kind of things she says around me, I know those are going to trigger me. So what I purposely do is, now I'm, like, still her friend, but now I just try and, like, hang out with her as least as possible. Or if I know I'm in, like, a bad place in recovery, I will purposely not, like, go over to her house, because I know she's just going to trigger me. Okay, one more thing I have here on my list is, like, if you have self-awareness, then you're going to know what is good, and, like what's good about yourself, and you'll be able to praise yourself for those things, versus, like, what's negative about yourself. Because, like, a lot of us in recovery, at first at least, when we're still in our eating disorder, we all think that, like, every single thing we do is negative and we're never good enough, when in reality, you have many talents. You're, you know, each person has their own talents, has their own things they're good at. For me, I like to play soccer. I've been doing that for many, many years. I like to, you know, what else? I'm outgoing. I like to have a good time. Just, like, try and think of a few things that you're good at that like, bring you happiness. And then, like, if you're feeling, you know, depressed or triggered that day, like, think of those things and then go out and do them, and hopefully those things that you know make you happy will, like, get you over that hump that you're on. But yeah, being self-aware can also help you, like, be honest towards yourself and your friends and family and doctors, just because, like, if you're self-aware and you are, you know, perceiving yourself in the right way, you're obviously not going to, like, skew what's happening in real life. But my time's almost over, so I'm going to have to say goodbye, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week, or in the future whenever I do the next video. So I hope this helped. Okay, bye. Okay, guys, bye.